As the spring transitions into a second summer of conflict, Ukrainian forces launch a reconnaissance operation against the Russian defenses. Ukrainian troops are facing an enemy that has erred and suffered setbacks during the 15-month-long war. In the last week, the Ukrainians have attacked on the west bank of the Zaporizhzhia sector, where the front line meets the Dnipro River at one point. Again south of Orikhiv 18 miles to the east, and most significantly, on both sides of the Russian salient on the border between Zaporizhzhia and Donetsk oblasts. Ukraine says it is continuing to make progress against Russian troops occupying its south and east in the initial stages of its much-vaunted counteroffensive. Ukraine said on Monday it had captured 7 villages since the weekend and made small gains near the eastern town of Bakhmut. Video footage shows artillery of the Ukrainian armed forces destroying a Russian invader T-72B3 tank with a high-precision American Excalibur projectile in the Kherson region. Another assault tank in the Donetsk direction was destroyed by fighters of the 59th Separate Motorized Infantry Brigade of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, named after Yakov Handziuk, having roasted the crew a little. At the same time, the video plot of the Rashist TV channel about an allegedly destroyed Ukrainian tank in the Tavry direction received wide publicity. At the same time, the burnt Russian tactical Beard chevron, which was in the car itself, squeezed into the frame. Many experts believe that propagandists mistook the destroyed Russian T-80BV tanks for Ukrainian ones, especially since the Rashists did it regularly. In addition, some media outlets believe that the Russian occupiers themselves shot down this Russian tank, mistaking it for a Ukrainian one. In another video, gunners from the 53rd Separate Mechanized Brigade of the Ukrainian Armed Forces destroy 3 BM-21 Grad salvo rocket systems, 2 KiBP 120mm artillery installations, a labor site, and a field depot of the Russian occupiers. The People's Deputy and frontline volunteer Yuri Misyagin announced this on his page on the social network Twitter, publishing related videos edited from various episodes shot by drone. Their operators found fat targets and adjusted the gunfire on them from the American 155mm howitzer M777 with the high-precision projectile M982 Excalibur. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy said Ukraine's counteroffensive was proving difficult for his troops, but progress was being made, with Ukraine retaking a number of settlements in Donetsk. The battle is fierce, but we are moving forward, and this is very important, Zelenskyy said in his evening speech, adding that the defeat of the enemy is what we need. Ukraine's defense ministry said Monday that 7 settlements have been liberated in the last week of fighting in Donetsk, and the area under control is 90 square km, or 35 square miles. In other news, Zelenskyy's hometown of Kryvyi Rih has been hit by what is described as a massive missile attack. On the other hand, the artillery of the Ukrainian armed forces destroyed 5 Mistas 152mm self-propelled artillery installations belonging to the Russian invaders at firing positions towards Berdyansk. This was reported by the Ukrainian blogger and patriot of occupied Donetsk, Necromancer, who published 2 videos shot with an unmanned aerial vehicle. Their operators apparently found the target and transmitted their geodetic coordinates to the guns and recorded their work. 5 hits straight from the first shot. In the first video, 2 self-propelled guns, which are standing in a clearing directly in front of a forest path, are shot. The second, 3 more, slightly better camouflage, are located directly on another forest path. Bloggers established the geolocation of events. All the enemy's self-propelled guns from this battery were destroyed near the village of Yalinsk in the Velikonovo-Solkovsky district of the Donetsk region. It is clear that the self-propelled gun was destroyed by high-precision weapons, and it was not an anti-tank missile complex. People's Deputy Yuri Misyagin in the comments under the first video shows 2 Russian Tu-C-19 Mesta-S self-propelled guns were destroyed by GMLRS missiles launched by the HIMARS system. In relation to the other 3 self-propelled guns, the 155mm American Excalibur projectile cannot be ruled out either. The US-based Institute for the Study of War said Ukraine was attempting a very difficult tactical operation, a frontal attack against prepared defensive positions, which was further complicated by a lack of air superiority. The results of the initial attack should not be overinterpreted, he added. The General Staff of the Ukrainian Armed Forces reported on 14 June that Russia had lost 217,330 troops in Ukraine since the start of the full-scale invasion, with an estimated 680 casualties as of 13 June. More than 15 months since Putin sent troops to Ukraine, Russian and Ukrainian troops are still fighting on a 1,000 kilometers, 600-mile front, albeit far from the capital Kyiv. Russian troops tried and failed to take Kyiv within hours and days after the invasion began on February 24 last year. Meanwhile, Ukrainian forces advanced up to 1 kilometer overnight on Berdyansk in the Zaporizhzhia region, officials said, as Ukraine stepped up its counteroffensive. Andriy Kovalov, spokesman for the Ukrainian General Staff, said in a live broadcast on Tuesday, as part of the offensive, troops of the Ukrainian Defense Forces strike group advanced 500 meters to 1 kilometer on the Berdyansk front over the past few years, 24 hours. Elsewhere, Ukrainian troops advanced 250 meters near the Berkiv Reservoir in Bakhmut and 200 meters on the Donetsk front, both in the Donetsk region. Deputy Defense Minister Hanna Maliar wrote on Telegram early Tuesday, Ukraine has claimed to have recaptured 4 villages from Russian troops last week in Ukraine's Donetsk region as their long-anticipated counteroffensive began, with Ukrainian troops reportedly favoring night raids where their superior Western equipment gives them an edge.